Hello, my name is Joel Senior, and I want to introduce my late wife doing a video of a very special Qigong. That Qigong harnesses the energies from different directions, the energies that are actually formulating every aspect of the universe, and that we can harness through Qigong and to promote our healthy organ functions as well as balanced mental state. It was her will that this information be made available to all after she passed. And for the sake of memories, we have a picture of her in her 20s. On the video, she's 48 years old. And this is a casual drawing she did of the birth house of Joan of Arc. She was also an artist. And I hope you practice these exercises, enjoy them, benefit from them greatly, and peace to all of you.
The 8 steps of energy reception. You see, this energy, this vital force surrounds us in the atmosphere. It's like an electromagnetic force. And our bodies are receptors for that force. And by positioning ourselves in specific manners and going through certain motions, we can receive that vital force, that electromagnetic energy, into our bodies and guide it to specific organs. Now, these 8 techniques are done according to the directions. So what I would recommend would be for you to get a hold of a magnetic compass that you can use so you can determine where the north is, because you have to face in the magnetic directions to do these exercises. These are pretty easy to find in a sporting goods store or surplus, army surplus. Boy Scout supplies, they carry this kind of thing. So when you have your compass, what you do is you locate magnetic north to begin with. And the first technique that you're going to do will be facing northwest, actually. But first you locate north, and then you position your body so it's facing northwest. And in that position, you do this simple technique. And the purpose of this technique is to energize the lungs and the large intestine, and also to build overall body strength. A month or 2 ago, I got a phone call from a woman, and she had had eczema on her skin, and she could do nothing about it. It was just a chronic problem for her. Remember, the skin relates to the lungs and the large intestine. She did this exercise, she said, for 1 week, and her eczema had completely cleared up. By re-energizing those lungs, by getting the vital force back in those lungs, so their function comes up, the function of her skin was elevated at the same time, and it was able to slough off the eczema. Now here's how you do this technique. You imagine that there's a barbell on the floor in front of you. Just use your imagination and see this barbell, like the weightlifters use, sitting on the floor in front of you. And then you slowly lean over like this and pick up the barbell in your hands, and then slowly come up with it. Watch how slowly I'm moving. That's one of the most important things to remember with Qi Kung, is that all of the movements are done in slow motion. Now lift the barbell overhead like this until your arms are completely outstretched, and then lower the barbell slowly, concentrating on that barbell. Keep your mind focused on what you're doing, and then lower it down to the floor. Once it's down on the floor, pick it back up again. Raise it overhead. And then slowly come back down. And lower it to the floor. Let go of the barbell and slowly stand up again. Now I should point out that your toes should be pointed inward for that technique, and that your weight should be on the balls of your feet rather than back on the heels. And you can repeat that movement as much as you wish. I'm just giving you an idea of how it works right now, so then you can put it to use for yourself in your own time, in your own space. Now the next technique is for facing north. So position your body facing north, and this technique benefits the kidneys, the bladder, the bones, and the ears, all of that water unit of energy. So to do this technique, facing north, remember, you stand with your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart and bend your knees. Make sure that the rear end is tucked under like this, so that you don't put any strain on the lower back. Don't make a sway back as you stand. Make sure the rear end is tucked in like this. All right? Now in that position, you imagine that you're an archer, and your hands are going to represent the bow and the string. So raise your index finger and your middle finger on each hand like this. Put them in front of you. And then let's begin saying that the left hand is the bow and the right hand is pulling the string. So the bow goes out to the side like this. And the string is pulled behind with my right hand. And then I slowly relax the tension on the bow and bring my hands back to the center. And now reverse so that the right hand becomes the bow and the left hand pulls the string. Now you notice that my arms are moving out to the side rather than out in front of me. Also notice that I'm watching the fingertips on the hand that represents the bow as it moves away from me and then back toward me. The eyes remain focused on the fingertips of the hand that represents the bow the entire time. Now another thing to remember as you do this is to keep breathing. We tend to hold our breath when we want to concentrate on something, but it's very important to keep the breath flowing smoothly in and out of the lungs as you do any of these techniques. And breathe through the nose always, and keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Keep the mouth closed, and the tongue is on the upper palate behind the upper front teeth. Right back there. It's just a natural place, you'll notice, to rest your tongue. Keep it there as you do these exercises. All right? Now facing northeast, we're going to do a technique which energizes the stomach and the spleen pancreas, as well as the muscles of the body. Now this one is a little bit different. You're going to use your imagination and imagine that you are a mountain. Now think about how a mountain would feel. What are the characteristics of a mountain? A mountain is silent and serene. A mountain is lofty, and it reigns over everything else around it. And it also possesses a multitude of internal resources. The mountain possesses everything that it needs for its endurance, for its abundance, for its preservation, and for its happiness. Now, what I would like for you to do is to embody those characteristics of the mountain. Stand still for a moment and close your eyes and just think about those characteristics and bring them into yourself. The serenity, the silence, the loftiness, the height. When you've embodied those characteristics of a mountain, then you simply do this. And keep those in mind as you do it. You lean over like this, bending at the waist until your arms are hanging down in front of you and your head and arms both hang relaxed like this. You maintain this pose for several seconds and then slowly come back up. Always moving slowly and always paying complete attention to what the body is doing. If you notice that your mind wanders away, which happens to all of us, just take a hold of it and gently guide it back to the task at hand. Tell it, now we're doing this, we'll do our grocery list later. Right now, we're doing this movement and we're going to pay attention while we do it. It takes practice, but you'll notice the more you do these techniques, the more focused you can become as you do them. In fact, they become like a meditation. Now, that technique you repeat maybe 2 or 3 times, as often as you feel comfortable, remembering to embody those characteristics of the mountain in you as you do them. And this benefits the stomach and the spleen, pancreas, and the muscles. So any problems with the digestive system, ulcers, slow digestion, overactive digestion, any of those problems, plus the other things that I mentioned earlier in relationship to the earth element, are all served by that exercise. It brings energy into that part of your body to upgrade the function and the vitality of those organs. Okay, now we've done northeast. Next we face east to benefit the wood element, that component of energy which includes the liver, the gallbladder, the nerves, and the eyes. Facing east, stand relaxed with your toes pointed slightly inward. Your feet are under the shoulders. In other words, directly beneath the shoulders. And in this position, you focus your eyes on a point east. And keeping the rest of your body relaxed, slowly rotate the shoulders, bending the knees slightly so that there is no strain on the knees. Slowly rotate the shoulders from side to side, like this. The movement is initiated by the shoulders. The arms hang limp. In other words, you don't swing the arms like this. The movement is initiated from the shoulders. So the arms hang relaxed and the shoulders do the motion. And you keep your eye fixed at all times on that point facing east. The next of these energy reception techniques faces southeast, and this direction brings the energy into the body to revitalize and increase the function of the heart and also the liver and the gallbladder and the small intestine as well. So facing southeast, you move around with your compass. I'm standing in one position so that you can see me in the audience, but if you're doing this in your home, you move around in a circle as you do the different exercises so that you're facing in the correct direction each time. So now you have moved your body so it's facing southeast. In this position, your arms are at your side, your hands are hanging relaxed. You fix your eyes on a point southeast this time, and you slowly come up on your toes like this. That's all there is to it. Hold that position up on the toes for as long as you comfortably can, and then slowly come back down. Now the tricky part of this, well, balancing on your toes may be tricky if you haven't done much of it lately. You may be wobbly at first, but don't worry about that. The more you practice this, the better you'll become. The other thing that's tricky is to keep the rest of the body relaxed, because we tend to tense up to keep ourselves up there on our toes. So as you're on your toes, check over the rest of your body. Make sure that the stomach muscles are relaxed. Make sure that your facial muscles are relaxed, and make sure that the shoulders are relaxed. Just check over them mentally as you do this technique. And if you notice any tension, then just consciously relax it in the middle of the technique itself. So you repeat going up on the toes several times, holding it while you can, and then slowly coming back down. And this energizes, like I say, the heart, the small intestine, the liver, and the gallbladder. Now you move south. And facing south, you're going to bring a real renewal of energy into the 7 glands, including the reproductive glands, as well as the heart and the small intestine. So this is good for any of those problems that I mentioned related to the fire element, including menstrual problems, cramping, PMS, backaches, sexual dysfunction of any kind. For men, it can include problems such as premature ejaculation or impotence. By bringing a renewal of energy into those reproductive glands, they begin to function again. So now you position yourself facing south. And in that position, you're going to rotate the pelvis in a way very similar to the hula hoop. If any of you have ever used the hula hoop, you know what I'm talking about. The only difference is you do it in slow motion. So you place your hands on your hips, point your toes slightly inward, pigeon-toed that is, and slowly rotate the pelvis, like this. And then come back the other way. And as you do that, you focus your attention on the part of the body that is doing the motion. Now, what is hard for some people when they first begin this is keeping their shoulders still. The tendency is to go like this. That's not what you want to do. You want to keep the rest of your body quiet, and the motion comes from the pelvis. And the shoulders stay as still as you can keep them. Like that. The next technique faces, southwest. So you position yourself southwest, and in that position, you imitate the tiger. Think for a moment what the attributes of a tiger are. A tiger is clever, ambitious, quick, strong, and very intelligent. So take a moment, pause, and reflect on those attributes and embody them in yourself. Imagine them coming into yourself, just the time being. And when you feel that you have those characteristics inside of yourself, you then put your feet shoulder width apart, bend at the knees, bring your arms up to your waist, tuck your thumbs inside of the other 4 fingers, lean forward a little bit like this, open your eyes wide, and imagine that you are extremely alert and you're just on the verge of pouncing. Keep the eyes wide open, keep the body in this position, and retain those attributes of the tiger inside of you. Alert, ambitious, clever, intelligent, quick, and patient. A tiger is very patient. It can wait as long as it needs to for just the right moment to make its move. All right, you can relax the position and then repeat it as many times as you feel comfortable. Another rule about Qigong is that you never do any of the exercises or techniques to the point where you feel any strain in the body. The major purpose behind Qigong, one of the major purposes, is to relax the body and to remove the stress rather than to create more stress on the body. So if you feel yourself becoming tired, that's the time to stop. Or if you feel stressed in any way, stop the exercise or technique and do it later on. All right, the last technique of these 8 that we've done faces west. And this one benefits the kidneys and the bladder. It's also very good for any kind of back pain or shoulder pain. Several people have told me that they've had cramping in the shoulders or in the upper back or in the lower back that they've been putting up with for a long time, and that this technique has helped them to completely eliminate that kind of pain. Try it for yourself if you have this kind of problem. To do this technique, you simply face west. The arms are down at the side. The toes are pointing slightly inward. The weight is on the balls of the feet. And you slowly begin to raise one hand up to the shoulder, and then turn the wrist so the palm is facing toward the ceiling, and continue raising your hand until it's completely overhead. And then slowly begin to lower the hand down to the shoulder, turn the palm so it's facing the floor, and then continue moving your hand down to your side. Now reverse and do the same thing with the other hand. And as you do it this time, keep your head facing in the direction of west, but look downward with your eyes and watch your hand as it comes up, moving only your eyes, not the whole head. And keep watching the hand as it goes overhead. It will go out of your range of vision momentarily, but then it will come back as you keep moving the hand. And then lower that hand to the floor. So each time you do this, you always focus the eyes on the hand that's moving. Now my eyes are watching the right hand as it comes up. And they're continuing to watch as it goes overhead. Keep the rest of your body relaxed as you do this, and like I mentioned earlier, continue to breathe. Let your breathing remain slow and even. Alright, so those are the 8 directional or 8 energy receptor exercises or techniques, whatever you choose to call them. They receive the energy from different directions and draw it in to specific areas of your body. So if you know that you have a particular weakness, maybe in your digestive system or maybe in the kidneys and the bladder function, whatever it is, you can isolate those exercises and just focus on them and do those by themselves. If you want to draw the energy into your whole body, you can take 15-20 minutes out of the day, maybe during your coffee break, and do the whole round of exercises at once. And you will notice how refreshed and how relaxed you are after that 15-minute break, because you will have renewed and revitalized every single organ function in your system in that brief period of time.